Everybody wants some blast of magic, 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 magic. Look up the magic you made.
Welcome back. Time for the next all-new Magician 101, the show for all magicians. We have a lot of great questions this week. Before we get into them, though, 3 quick things I want to go over. If you didn't see my video the other day, Chris Ballinger is back selling, or in the magic selling business, I would say. I don't think he's going to be doing a lot of the stuff he was doing at Magic Geek, but he's back with Vanishing Ink Magic. He'll be doing some super secret projects with them. I'm sure it's probably going to be new tricks coming out, I have a feeling. And it's going to be also YouTube video content for them. So I'm very excited. So make sure to go over to Chris Ballinger's Facebook or Twitter page, or Vanishing Ink's Twitter or Facebook page, and use the hashtag Chris is back and show some love for Chris Ballinger. And also the Magic Geek YouTube page, make sure to go resubscribe to them if you've unsubscribed to them when Chris Ballinger left, because Vanishing Ink, they changed the name over to Vanishing Ink's page for Magic Geeks. So make sure to go check that out. Alright, so another thing I want to talk about is, if you did not see NCIS Los Angeles this past Monday, there was a very special magical guest star on. Make sure to check out CBS.com or go to your on-demand site and check it out, because they had one of my favorite magicians as a special guest star. Bill Malone, the guy who does Sam the Bellhop, made his acting debut on NCIS Los Angeles. That is super exciting. Make sure to go check out Bill Malone making his acting debut on NCIS Los Angeles. All right. And I want to talk about a very exciting email I got this morning from a site that I really don't like that much, Penguin Magic. I do use Penguin Magic for their live lecture series, because Penguin Live have had some amazing magicians come on and do live lecture series. There has been David Regal had a very great lecture. I recommend going to buy that lecture, because that was a really funny and awesome lecture. Tomas had a really good live lecture on Penguin Magic. I think it was back in like August or September. No, it was back in June or July, the lecture was. That was a really funny lecture too. I really love Tomas with the cardiologist deck. And some great magic advice came from the guy that was on Fool Us, Sean Farquhar. He had a really good lecture with a lot of good magic in there. So, but they're having another live lecture, a very exciting one on the 16th of November. Having a good one the 16th of November. One of my favorite magicians is going to be doing a live lecture series. He was just on TV last Monday. Bill Malone will be doing a live lecture for Penguin Magic. I'm really excited. Bill Malone has done a lot of really great tricks. He's done a lot of great Ed Marlowe stuff. So I recommend checking out Penguin Live's lecture series and ordering the Bill Malone lecture. I'll be watching it November 16th. I recommend you watch it as well, because it'll be a really amazing lecture. And the really awesome thing about the Penguin Live lecture, afterwards, you can go and download the lectures you've watched. So that's going to be exciting as well, because you can go download the lectures that you've watched and rewatch them anytime. Alright, let's get to this week's questions. First of all, Mr. Tadpole221 says, what is your favorite Winter Olympic sport? I don't really have a favorite Winter Olympic sport, because I don't like the Winter Olympics as much as I like the summer ones. I think the summer ones are a lot better. But if I had to choose a favorite Winter Olympic sport, it would probably be hockey. They do have hockey, I think. I hope. But hockey. I know I've seen hockey on there before. So probably hockey, or maybe even curling. Curling's pretty cool. I actually like the curling. You take giant brooms and you sweep these little puck things. So it's really cool. Alright, Jason Ramsland has the first question. What are the most clever gimmicks you know, and what are some gimmick effects that can be examined before and after the trick? I have some bad news on one of your questions. First, we'll start with the most clever gimmicks. I love the Clarity Box by David Regal. That is a really clever gimmick, because the card is in full view the whole time. So it's really fun. Another good one is Crosswords by Mark Mason. When the cards visually change from yours, or from mine to yours, perfect effect. I love that. Another really good one is one that a lot of Tenyo-philes really love. People who love Tenyo magic, like the people over at funstuffonly.com/Tenyo, plug for them. They love Crystal Cleaver. They say is a really good Tenyo trick with a really great gimmick. And it does have a really fantastic gimmick. And I recommend getting that one as well. Crystal Cleaver. And another great trick that would actually be I was going to talk about the Mind Ball by David Regal. That's a great trick. I feel like David Regal could have done a little bit more to influence the outcome that the Mind Ball has, because you can't control what pops up. There are predictions that pop up in the Mind Ball and also jokes. And I wish there was a way, if you go back and watch my 365-day Magic Challenge video where I performed the Mind Ball live, the bad thing is, I couldn't, you can't, you notice that in that video, it kept saying the man has I think it's the Two of Hearts, over and over and over again. It keeps saying the man had the Two of Hearts, and I couldn't get it to say anything else, until finally at the end when it did, have the woman's prediction. So I really wish there was a way you could, if there was a way you could make it so that you could change the outcomes and you could control when the jokes appeared and when the predictions appeared, I'd make that a fantastic trick. But the Mind Ball is not a bad trick, so I still recommend getting that one too, but just be aware that you might have the same thing over and over again, or it may just do the two predictions super quick, but it's still a great trick. Also, Jason Ramsland says, what are some gimmicked effects that can be examined before and after the trick? I have bad news on that. You really can't. There are really no gimmick tricks where you can have the gimmick be examined at the end, because that defeats the whole purpose of a gimmick trick. A gimmick trick is really so that the gimmick does all the work, but it can't be examined, like a pure sleight of hand trick. So what I would say, if you want to be able to pass out a gimmicked effect, you are going to have to do some kind of switch. So let's say you're using a gimmicked coin. All right, so using some kind of gimmicked coin. You want to have a coin that is a regular coin. So if, let's say you're using a gimmicked quarter, you want to have another regular coin in your pocket and do a coin switch, so that people can examine the non-gimmicked coin to their heart's content and they won't find the secret. Or what I normally do is if there's a gimmick trick, I do the switch, or I'll just jump into another trick and I'll do one that's not a gimmicked one that can be examined before and can be examined after the trick. There are some gimmicked effects I think that can be examined. I know Crystal Cleaver is one of them, because the gimmick, it doesn't go away, but the way it works, it does sort of go away, where they can examine everything after the trick. And Scotch and Soda can do that too. But you don't want, but those two tricks, you don't want them examinable for too long. You don't want them holding the object for too long, because if they do, they may find out how the trick works, and they may put the pieces together. So to get over that, I either just do a switch of the item, or I just don't even have them examine the thing at the end. Alright, let's see. Jason Ramsland also says, P.S. I feel the same about classic TV shows. I love Lucy as my favorite show, and in my opinion, her best series. I think so too. And an old game show that I like is Super Password. I recommend that to you. And I already know of Super Password, actually, Jason, with Bert Convy. Great game show. All the passwords are really good. The ones with Alan Ludden, Password Plus and Password are really good. By the way, if there's anybody else who's going to recommend game shows to me, I would say don't do that, because I probably have watched every game show out there at least once. So I know of all the game shows, because I'm a huge game show. I'm a game show nerd, as they would say. But yes, thank you for the suggestion though, Jason. Password is a great series. I recommend that to everybody else. Alright, and I'm going to read Alton Cordova's, one of his comments, because he says the 2-card Monty trick that Blaine did on his special is called Be Honest, What Is It by Eddie Fisher. So thank you for that. I did not know that, Alton, so thank you for sharing that. If you have if there's something I talk about and I don't know the name of it, please, any magician feel free to chime in so I know the name, because I didn't know the name of that. So thank you very much for that, Alton. Alright, and sorry about this, but I'm going to butcher your name probably. Elliot Cluson. Elliot Cluson, I'm sure I butchered that. If I did, I'm sorry. But Elliot has the next question. Thank you, Elliot, for posting your question. I love when I see new faces on this show as well. Old faces are great. New faces are great, too. All right, Elliot says, hey, Bob, what is your go-to card effect? So if someone came over to you with a random deck and asked you to perform, what trick would you do? All right, I would definitely do the last trick I just talked about, the Be Honest, What Is It? David Blaine, 2-card Monty. But my all-time favorite go-to trick is Chris Ballinger's Forced Outcome. Amazing piece of magic. I use that in every single show that I do. It is a very great effect. I highly recommend Chris Ballinger's Forced Outcome. Now, the only thing I would say is, because Magic Geek is down right now and there's no way to actually get the trick, go over to Chris Ballinger's Facebook page if you don't know how to do the trick, and ask him if he can maybe, somehow get you the instructions for the trick, because it is a really awesome trick, and I definitely recommend it. So, that is going to do it for this week's Magician 101. Hope you guys enjoyed. Remember to post your questions down below for next week. I'll give them an answer, and I'll see you next Wednesday for another all-new Magician 101.
If you'd like to see more awesome content, be sure to hit the subscribe button down below. New videos are posted every day of the week. Also, check out my website and register so you can post in the forums. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, like me on Facebook, add me to your Google Plus circles, and check out my merchandise store to pick up some awesome swag. 444RR, game shows, magic, and more.